Alright, ladies and gents, here we are. Finals of the singles part of the PLU 2014 match between Bisu and Zero. This is set number 2. And score is currently 1-0 in the score of Bisu. So, alright, jumping right into the game. No, not jumping right into the game? Alright, yes, we are there. The map is going to be Circuit Breakers. So, alright, spawning in the upper right position, we are going to have our blue Zerg player, Zero. And spawning in green in the upper left position, our Protoss player, Bisu. Bisu is currently 1-0. And, so yeah, good for him. So, last game, what did we see? I mean, it was standard map Fighting Spirit. Oh, it looks like Zero's booth girl has moved a little bit closer, possibly to attempt to boost his power. Bisu's once again completely ignoring his booth girl. What? Don't you just hate it, you know? Got the pretty girls right there, and he won't even, you know, look in her direction. It's like, nope, this game puts me to sleep, but they're paying me, so I'll play. Alright. So, both players are scouting in the incorrect directions, as you can see from their mini-maps. They are in horizontal spawns, which is probably more beneficial to Bisu than it is for Zero. And, yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny when you see how much their screen is changing, how much it flashes versus how bored they look just staring at it, as if it's nothing. So alright, we can see Zero's gone for a pool first. It looks like a overpool. And I don't like his pool positioning. It looks like it manages his gas. So in case you're wondering what he was doing there, his drone was, you know, hiding behind the minerals. It is a pretty common thing to do. You send out your drone a second early so that it can hide behind the minerals. Hopefully the scouting worker just goes straight into your base and doesn't try to block the hatch because it doesn't know the drone's already out. It's a good move, but didn't actually come into play. Do you see 3 eggs morphing at once? But yeah, it's only 2 Zerglings. My understanding on that build is if there is a drone, or if there is a probe that manages to block your hatchery or throw down a pylon, you go for the full 6 lings. But otherwise, you just go for the 2 lings and plant your hatch, and that's how the minerals work out. But, so yeah. So, no probe, no pylon, no block, so hatch goes down, 2 lings, and Zero takes a 3rd base in the bottom right position. Looks like his cannon is not quite going to be done. But because of the hero probe, Zero's lings got scared away. They didn't want to be caught in the cannon range when it finished. So, yeah. Zerglings are going to come home, try to force away that probe. Probe has taken a significant amount of damage already. It's already in the yellow. So chances are Bisu got frisky with one of the drones. Alright, and core goes down for Bisu, layer goes down for Zero, very, very common. Of course, it's very hard to Hydra bust Bisu since, you know, his probe micro is just so stupidly good. I mean, you really can't throw down a Hydra Den and have it scouted by the probe right away. I mean, that's, you know, it's just a perfect counter then. So as long as that probe is alive, he's pretty much got no risk of being Hydra busted. Alright, second gas on the way for Bisu. Pretty standard unless you're going for the Zealot all-in, which is like I think it's like a 2 gateway usually, sometimes with an early Citadel. But no, not seeing that. A few extra lings coming down. Right in time to deal with that Zealot. Bisu's first Zealot heading to the 3rd base for Zero. And, I said the Lings were going to go for the Zealot, but actually, looks like it's going to be a run-by. He's got, I think, 7 Lings heading straight to Bisu's base. There's no block, single cannon. These Lings can get through. There's a Zealot blocking the lower gap, but the upper gap is open. Zergling speed is finished. Oh! Oh, man. Bisu's timing was... I don't know how he did that. So at the last second, Bisu moved his his Zealot from the lower gap to the upper gap, and he also pulled probes. So even though it's like a two space or 2 size gap, he blocked it perfectly at literally the very last second. So because he, it wasn't blocked for so long, Zero decided to go for it, and he lost 2 or maybe even 3 Lings for free, even though he had speed and the element of surprise. It's a completely perfect play from Bisu there. So now Bisu has extra Zealots out, he's got his drones back mining, and he has got... I was going to say it was that perfect place to hide his Zealot, but it appears it wasn't quite as perfect as it looked. So his first Zealot does go down, no drone kills, only a single Zergling kill. But still, Zero is at a bit of a disadvantage, because that run-by did not work. I mean, that was an extra... I don't know, call it 3 drones that weren't made that were put into Lings, in addition to Zergling speed early. So, suboptimal. Chances are it means Scourge may be slightly late, and that just means more Overlord kills and more economic harassment in the near future. Alright, so I think I've seen 5 hatcheries, saw the Hydra Den, saw the Evo Chamber. Bisu's getting cannon in his main to keep Scourge off of his Stargate. And going up to mid-game. So yeah, so larvae were being saved up there for a while, and then they all got spent at once. The Observer wanted to point it out, so he thinks it's important. I'm not sure. He shouldn't have enough gas to go for like all mutas at once, like Zergs usually do versus Terran, but so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Alright, so 1 Corsair took 1 Scourge, and the cannon got the other Scourge. So that will regen with the shields. So, good play. Alright, they're all Hydras. That's different. Oh, Scourge. Silly Scourge. I mean, they were like right outside the Corsair's window, and then they just like stop, and they're like, oh wait, there's a Corsair there? Oh, you shooting at me? Oh, do you want me to go get him? Well, of course, by then he's already gone. Scourge have like, what, 25 HP? Practically nothing. But alright, there are Hydras out, and a considerable number. Let's see, we got 4 here. It appears they may have speed. And, so yeah. Uh-oh. So Bisu doesn't know about all these Hydras, at least I don't think he does. So he's moving his Zealots into the 3rd base. Big group of Hydras coming in behind them. Unfortunately, Zero's not paying the greatest of attention, and he lets the Zealots just completely walk up to the Hydras and get good surface area on them. So all the Hydras that were like originally in the 3rd base are going to go down. So are the Zealots, but the Zealots were already going to die just with all the forces coming from behind. But it was a few extra Hydra losses than were needed. So of course, in this type of matchup, even without too much upgrades, Zealots do really good versus low numbers of Hydras. I saw this in like a map test once, that regular Hydraless, no upgrade, takes like 34 shots to kill a Zealot, since Zealots are light units and Hydras only do half damage versus light units. 34 shots. Compare that to the like 7 shots it takes for a Zealot to kill a Hydra. It's just silly. And I mean, they're virtually the same cost. Hydra's 75-25, so total of 100 resources versus the whole 100 minerals that Zealots are. So you can even claim that Hydras are more expensive than gas is probably better than mineral. So, I mean, they're somewhat the same cost. Maybe Hydras are more expensive, but the Zealots literally are like 4 times as efficient in battle. until you get up to a critical mass. And then, of course, the critical mass is required because, you know, Hydras are ranged, they can all fire at once, whereas only the front line of Zealots can. So a couple storms are baited out at the front of Bisu's base, where there was a small Hydra contain. Corsairs are being super annoying hunting overlords at Zero's rally point. Robo has been thrown down for Bisu. Possibly it's because he's afraid of all these Hydras at the front and you know, wants to get out of Reaver. But the other thing is he might just not want to get contained by lurkers. His DT is still, you know, happily chasing the Hydras, and since all the overlords keep on getting picked off, you know, he's going to keep on being annoying. Alright, lurkers are on the way for Zero. And we do have a spore crawler, sorry, not a spore crawler, a spore colony at the third base for Zero. Zero's going to go ahead and take his fourth base behind his third. Excuse me. And Bisu is taking his third base as well. So Zero has these odd Zerglings placed at funny locations. I think it's just to scout for incoming drops. And that's what it looks like at the top. He's got two Scourge, like right on the edge of the map, and he's got a Zergling slightly in front of them, closer to Bisu's base. So that's what it looks like. And he's got something similar at the 9 o'clock and 7 o'clock positions on the map. Slightly interesting. Oh no. Big group of Hydra Lurker. No overlords for scouting DTs. This is... and there's observers out already. I don't think this... Oh, there's an overlord. We do have one overlord. There's just not enough stuff from Zero here. I mean, it's like... he's just so badly outnumbered. Oh no. That's not good. It looks a bit like Zero was getting greedy there. So he took a fourth base, and at the same time he tried to put on some aggressive pressure. And that's not how it works. You don't get to attack and expand at the exact same time and win in your battles. So he loses that battle, and with that extra bit of confidence from winning the battle, Bisu's going to go ahead and take his fourth base at the 12 o'clock position, expanding, getting really close to Zero's base, and throwing down a whole lot of cannons, which, I mean, yeah, as cannons they don't scale well into the late game, but for their location right now and their cost right now, they're pretty awesome. So of course cannons have better range than Hydras, and in addition to that there's a ramp there, meaning the Hydras are going to bug out whenever they try to push in. So that's going to be a really great defensive position for now, for Bisu. Of course in the later game, if it does come to that, Dark Swarms will do quite effectively, you know, to bust into there, but in the meantime, that's going to be a really hard position to break. So, alright, Zero's base, his fourth base is fully saturated with drones. That is good. He doesn't have the gas there, but he probably doesn't need it yet since he's still only on layer tech. Ooh, nice storm on the bridge. Softens up a whole lot of those Hydras. And Bisu's taking a fifth base. Zero could scout it because he's got a Zergling right there, but probably hasn't seen it yet. So, short recap here. So, Bisu's on soon to be 5 bases, and Zero is on 4 bases. Zero is the Zerg player. So, yeah, this is just bad for Zero. I mean, it's like his army is, you know, retreating to Bisu's army. He's got fewer bases, and Bisu has much better tech. I mean, Bisu literally has full tech, and Zero is still on layer. Actually, that's a wider ramp than I was thinking, and the cannons are farther away from it than I was thinking also. So it's possible that Zero could actually knock down that 12 o'clock position. And if he does it fast enough, then he could just hold the bottom of the ramp on the other side, and things could go well for him. But instead he's taking up to Hive and just trying to hold this defensive position. He's got a good lurker field and some Sunkens. So storms are being baited out. But right now, it's like a storm is hitting a lurker. You know, that's not all that great. Hydras are coming in for the on the backside, but it's a single control group of Hydras versus, you know, like 3 control groups of Protoss units, so it's not going to do too much. So many Templar, it's like 8 Templar there. But this is a somewhat narrow choke, and Bisu's having trouble getting his troops through. Looks like mainly it's Zerglings trading out here, which is pretty decent for the Zerg player. Unfortunately, Zero's got part of his army trapped on the other side of the bridges, and he really doesn't want to be stormed crossing the bridges. Alright, we have more Lings moving in. All the Zealots are gone to the Lurkers. And of course, Lings do excellent versus Goons. Just, again, due to damage types and, you know, how cheap Lings are. Oh, but blanket storms everywhere. Oh no, Lurkers are clumped. Lurkers are clumped! The Koreans are screaming for more storms. They just love it. Oh, so many Lurkers dead. So, let's see. So the Spore Colony got two observers by itself. What? Pretty sure I just saw the Hydras fire on the Spore Colony for one shot. Must have been A-moving and wasn't careful enough. All in all, that trade was pretty decent for Zero. He was trading out a lot of Lings for Goons, which is really a great trade. And it does look like the Lings have the Adrenal upgrade now. So they're now the, what do you want to call them? The, what's it called? Whatever, they're Cracklings. But so many Zealots, oh my god. What are Zero's upgrades like? Does Zero have enough upgrades? So, Lings versus Zealots is a bit of a funny thing. So the army is finally repulsed, but once again, Bisu's on 5 bases and Zero's only on like 4. He's taking his 5th now. But as long as Protoss has a +1 or higher attack over Zerg armor, as long as they have that, Zealots trade very well versus Zerglings because they can 2-shot them. But once you get up the Hive and you get 3-3 on Zerglings, so it gets finally to the point where the Zerglings are, you know, max upgraded and the Zealots can no longer, you know, 2-shot them. All of a sudden, you know, the Zerglings are just do so much better against them. And it does look like we have 3 attack on the Protoss units. As expected, Protoss upgrades usually go much faster than the Zerg upgrades. Yeah, oh man, the Lings are only at 1-1, so it's going to be a really long time for Zero to get that 3-3. But he does have his Hive done, he's got the Adrenal Gland, and he's got Defilers out. He has his 5th base up, but not saturated yet. It looks like he's actually doing a pretty good job pushing back Bisu, just with the massive amount of cheap Cracklings. So many cannons at the 6th base for Bisu going up. Excuse me. Now that Defilers and Cracklings are up, cannons are not... I mean, they're still decent, but they're really not anywhere near as cost-effective as they could be. Because as you can see, you know, throw down a Dark Swarm and, you know, Crackling takes out a cannon in seconds without taking any damage. So, alright, the 6th base is going to be cancelled. The 4th base for Bisu is going to be assaulted. Doesn't look like it's gone down, but it looks like 4 cannons went down for only the cost of a few Lings and maybe a Defiler. Zero's bringing this back. But, oh no, we have Reavers. Run away, run away. Alright, 4th base is going to go down just due to a handful of Lings. But it looks like Zero's 3rd and 4th base are under attack. 2 Reavers. Alright, he's got a lot of relieving forces coming in from behind, but they have to cross the bridges. And there's both Templar and Reavers that could really give Zero a bad day crossing those bridges. Oh man, he's losing the Hydra Den. Pretty soon he's not going to be able to produce any more Hydra. Hydra Den is gone. Plague-oo! Yeah, it's not even that great of a plague. Plague on the Archon, that's a bit funny. Because of course Plague on an Archon does like 6 damage or 9 damage. It's so little. Oh, but man, there's 3 hatcheries at the 4th base for Zero, and he's just pumping out Lings. Super cost effective. And there's Sunkens at the same time. 2 Hero Zealots are taking on the drones, and the Zerglings are just watching. They're like, hey, that's your fight, not ours. No! You're losing all your drones, Zero! Zero, come on! He finally notices, but he's lost like 7 drones to... And he had plenty of Zerglings to take out those few Zealots. Zero cannot afford to lose his base. Why is he not sending more troops? It looks like Zero is almost out of units. I mean, he's got 3 Zerglings attacking the former 5th base of of Bisu, but with a single DT is going to clean it up. Alright, so this is alright. That's it. Zero lost his 3rd base. He lost his 4th base. His 5th and 6th bases are just hatcheries. There's no drones at them. So he's got his main and his natural. Practically no mining. GG from Zero. Bisu is going to take game number 2. It's only a best of 5, so if Zero wants to win, he's going to have to win the next 3 in a row versus Bisu. I hope my voice lasts that long. I think I'm going to have to take a break. But, alright, when I come back, we will see you guys in game number 3, Bisu versus Zero from PLU 2014.